Hi, good morning, everyone. Rennie, your mic is muted.
Good morning,
Huh?
everyone. Welcome to our Hypnosis Town Hall meeting. And you got to see my mime routine right off the bat because my mic was muted. I'll go like
Great
this next
start.
time. I'm Rainey, and
I'm Raluca. Welcome, everyone.
and today we've got a great show. We're going to focus on why can't I be hypnotized? That's something we hear from a lot of people. We get calls, we get comments, and we're going to discuss why or if you're not being hypnotized. And to get started, we'd like to welcome you all here. And let's see, we have James Mitchell. I think I pronounced that right. James Mitchell from Antioch, Illinois. Woohoo, Illinois.
Welcome, James.
Sorry, Raluca, you got bumped. He's further than you are.
Okay.
And
Okay.
we've got Leela. Hello, Leela from Massachusetts. Pretty close to us on the map, Leela. You're only this far away. Look at that. Just below. I think it takes us 3/4 of an hour to get to Massachusetts.
Yes, with good traffic, probably about an hour.
And James told me I pronounced it right. Yay! So we'd like to thank you all for being here. And as you come in, once again, let us know who you are, where you're from, so we can see who the furthest one is away. So today we want to speak about, like I said, about hypnosis, about people who can't be hypnotized. We get this once in a while, and I probably shouldn't word it that way. Anyone can be hypnotized, okay? However, some people feel they weren't for certain reasons. We're going to discuss that. And before we do, you know what's coming up, we're looking at. Guess what? In about a week, on the 26th, so not tomorrow, but a week from tomorrow, we are starting our hypnosis certification training on Zoom. Okay, this is a 6-day training, Saturday and Sunday for 3 weeks. And it's starting next Saturday, so a week from tomorrow. And it's not too late to register, so go ahead and register. We have a link below this video. It's going to be a lot of fun. We've got a huge class. There's going to be a lot of interaction, a lot of individual practice. So you'll be hypnotizing others as early as the second day, and you'll be hypnotized the first day. Ooh, so you
I
get to see
mean,
what it feels like. Bye,
dun,
Raluca.
dun,
Look at
dun.
those eyes. Make the eyes big. Let's see the hypnotic eyes. There we go. Don't worry, folks. Your eyes will be closed and she won't scare you. So she'll be hypnotizing you the first day. We both do the training. There's going to be a lot of individual work, a lot of group work, a lot of exercises so you can graduate on the 6th day confident and competent to be able to hypnotize anyone for virtually anything.
Anything. Yep.
Start your own business, self-help, help your family, friends. So that's coming up on the 26th, and it will all be recorded. So if there's some days you can't make it, it'll be recorded so you catch up. It's going to be 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. each day, Eastern Standard Time. That's New York time. I would say Maine time, but it's amazing how many people don't know where Maine is. Okay, so New York time. So let's see. Oh, we have someone from Facebook from Colorado. Actually, we've got a couple people on Facebook. We are live streaming simultaneously on 2 Facebook channels and our YouTube channel. Today we're not. Sorry, folks. Twitter and what's the other one? LinkedIn. We didn't put them on today, but we normally do it to all 5. So let's see. I'm going to jump right in with the first question. And folks, those of you that are watching, if you have questions about hypnosis, and today we're speaking about why people say they can't be
They
hypnotized,
think they can't be hypnotized. Yeah.
right? So go ahead and put it in the comments. And if we have time during the show, we'll try to answer them live. So here's the first question I have here from Donovan Yates. It says, does it make me non-analytical if I put my fingers together because I interpreted it as part of the instructions. Now, what Donovan means is we have tests to find out whether you're analytical or non-analytical, so we can tailor the session to you. And this one is called the finger test, where you give you suggestions and your fingers go together. And if you want to see how that works and you want to see how your mind works, there's a link below the video going to that video so you can actually try it for yourself. So does it make me non-analytical if my fingers went together because I interpreted it as part of the instructions? And if I'm analytical, how can I be hypnotized if I'm distracted so that the suggestions reach my subconscious? Ooh, so a couple of good questions. Okay, so let me see. I'm going to give Raluca the floor. Would you like to address any of that first?
What I was going to say, you're going to want to make sure as a practitioner that that particular test is done correctly, right? That's what came to my mind, because when the words at the test is to focus on what you're doing rather than so much of what I'm saying, right? So I want you to imagine doing this and doing that. But the test needs to remain accurate, because if you are doing just because you have being told to do that, like your fingers are coming closer and closer together, and if you don't feel like your fingers are coming closer and closer, but you're doing it just because you think that's what you're supposed to do, then the test is not accurate. So you have to talk to the client and make sure that you give the proper instructions. So because that's very important in classifying the subjects as analytical or non-analytical, and then doing the hypnosis session properly. So that's what I'm thinking. Did I get that right, the question?
Yeah. If the hypnotist is saying it right, I want you to imagine your fingers going together. So if you're imagining it, and some people say, well, my fingers went together just because he said it. Well, guess what? You were still. The whole idea is to see if you're open to suggestion or not, or what degree you're open to suggestion. So, of course, if they say, imagine doing this, they're going to start going together.
And we're doing more than one exercise.
Right,
we call it test, but we're doing more than one. We're doing like 2 or 3. And so they're all different. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the second half of the question is, so if I'm analytical, how can I be hypnotized if I'm distracted so that the suggestions reach my subconscious? Okay. Once you do the test, the people who are non-analytical, those people, we just relax them. But the other ones that stay this, or even, maybe just go a little bit, those are the analytical folks. So what we do with them is we use a distraction method that keeps their mind busy. So what Donovan's saying
is actually better.
If I'm distracted, how can I take the suggestions? Remember, a hypnotist is speaking to your subconscious mind, okay? So the behind mind. And the subconscious mind's always working, always paying attention, even when you're not consciously. And that's the whole idea, is we're trying to keep the conscious mind, the rebellious mind, busy. And while it's busy, it's not resisting the suggestions. So where the relaxation method works on the majority, let's say 80% of the public, the analytical method, which is keeping your mind busy, works on everyone. Because not everyone can relax all the time, but anyone can be distracted. Okay. So analytical is not bad. Analytical is good.
It's actually easier to hypnotize an analytical client. Most people are nervous and scared about them, but not really. It's the easiest session you could do.
I think the reason most hypnotists are scared or nervous around analytical clients is because most hypnotists are non-analytical. Okay, that's what the field tends to draw. And you're comfortable doing hypnosis or speaking to people who are like you. Analytical people are a little different than non-analytical. Okay, so like if you look at the military, most of the enlisted people in lower ranking officers would be usually non-analytical. The higher ranking officers, the people in command, are usually analytical. So here's a little private trying to have a conversation with a general. they're uncomfortable around them. It's not that they're hard to speak to. It's just that it's different. They're not used to it because all their friends and people they hang with are probably non-analytical. It's the same with the hypnosis sessions. They're actually easier to hypnotize, but you may not be comfortable with them. But if you do it the way we teach you, test the people with the finger, the arm, the postural sway, all these different methods that we practice in class, they're extremely accurate. Never guess. Never guess.
Never guess. Oh, I think, yeah.
You'll
I think.
usually be wrong. About 50% of the time, oh, that person looks non-analytical. And yeah, a lot of times you're wrong. I've been. But the tests are accurate. They work. And as a result of that, you know how to hypnotize someone. So there's no one you should not get.
We do get sometimes people coming and saying, "Oh, I was hypnotized a long time ago. It didn't work for me." When I hear that, let's do the test and see what's happening. And bam, most of the time, 99.9% of the time, they're analytical. And most, and a lot of schools don't teach how to do the analytical session. So
That's it. Yeah.
yeah, my first thought is, okay, they should be analytical.
Yeah, majority of schools teach just the non-analytical,
Yeah.
just the relaxation, because that's 80% of society. And that's why so many hypnotists are missing clients. They're saying, oh,
Yeah.
it didn't work because you didn't test them. As a matter of fact, a lot of places don't test you. They just close your eyes, relax, and they do it. And yeah, so it's not going to work on a lot of the people. Even a non-analytical person that likes to relax, if he's having a bad day or if he's stressed or he got cut off on the way, from the house to your office, they're not going to be able to relax. So even them, you might have to do it analytically that day so you can get them. Yeah. Good. And if you folks have questions as we're talking, go ahead and put them down. And we can go ahead, especially even if it's something that you want to ask about what we're speaking about, if you don't have a separate question. Oh, this is I don't know if I call it a 3-part question, but it's a question that I answered and somebody else jumped in and asked a question. I answered and then another one jumped in. So this is going to be a big one.
Oh.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm looking over here because that's where my questions are. I got to read them. Okay, from Sapphire Mommy. I love these handles and names. Sapphire Mommy. I remember someone trying to hypnotize me, and I remember trying very hard to concentrate and to do well, and being hypnotized, but my thoughts almost outtaked the hypnotist. I think overtook the hypnotist.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't get hypnotized. My inner dialogue is always with questions, and I think it fudges the efforts. Now, you've heard that one before, right, Raluca?
Yeah.
Okay, so I find it hard to concentrate because there's just basically so much going on in her head. So she's thinking she couldn't be hypnotized. Now, I think one of the biggest, I'm being choked by my string here, my cord. I think one of the biggest problems that a lot of people have that are untrained with hypnosis, that are just going as sessions, is number one, they don't know what hypnosis is. Okay. Hypnosis isn't a trance. You're not stuck. It's just being open to suggestion. You go through hypnosis quite a few times, multiple times every day, and you don't even realize it, at the supermarket, while you're driving, at school, at church, watching TV. We're going through because you're accepting suggestion. Right now, if you're listening to me and not going la, 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 and trying to fight it, according to the definition, you're in a light stage of hypnosis because you're accepting the suggestions that I'm giving you, okay? Salesmen take advantage of that all the time. So unless you resist, you're accepting their suggestion. Even while I'm talking to you like this and saying, you're accepting their suggestion. See, my head is nodding. And some people might be going like, look at, see how contagious it is? Yes, you will make me lobster for dinner. Oh, darn. But, okay, so you're open to suggestions. So think about that. The way she's saying it, my thoughts are over. So no matter how many thoughts you have, that is the conscious mind. The thinking comes from the conscious mind. Your subconscious mind is always open to suggestion and accepting it unless you're consciously resisting it. But in her case, if your mind is so busy with all these thoughts, you're not consciously resisting the suggestions. You're probably not even hearing them. consciously, but subconsciously you hear everything all the time. So don't worry. There's no right or wrong in hypnosis. Like if Raluca's hypnotizing me right now, I might hear every word she says because I'm focusing on it, or I might be thinking so much about what I got to do later on and all this that I didn't hear a word she said. Either way, it worked. If I was focusing on it and not resisting it, I accepted it. If my mind was really busy, that's kind of like I'm creating my
I,
own
yeah.
analytical approach. I was so busy that the suggestion went right past without any resistance at all. So I think that's so my
You
inner
know how many
dialogue.
times I hear clients, oh, I heard you some most of the time, but there were some times when my mind just went on wandering off about other stuff, and that's okay. Because while you are doing that, the idea is that you're not consciously fighting my suggestions. You want to get past the conscious mind, so that's okay. If you think, in fact, many scripts have that in the beginning. You may be thinking about what I'm saying, or you may be thinking about some other stuff, and that's okay.
Okay, now the second part of that question. Okay, so Sapphire Mommy asked that. I hope that helps you. And now someone named Bluebell responded, I'm the same way, Sapphire Mommy. I love that. I've had 2 tries at it and still no joy. I like that term. I know I'm trying too much to do it. I'm trying too much to do it too well. Uh, and when given choices, i.e., name a favorite scenic place, my mind goes blank. I'm not good at making instant choices, whatever they may be. Okay, and the same thing, this is Bluebell is saying this, the same thing, Bluebell, it doesn't matter whether, if somebody says, think of a happy place and go there. Yeah, sometimes you try too hard. I know I've been told that before. Sometimes, why didn't that happen? Well, you tried too hard that you sabotaged yourself. And a lot of times we do that with things, but in hypnosis, it doesn't matter. Whether you try hard or whether you don't try hard, whether your mind's busy, whether it's not, it doesn't matter. As long as you're not resisting, fighting the suggestion, la, 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 you can accept the suggestion. And that's it. Too many people overthink it. And that's what they're doing. They're overthinking it. But even if you're overthinking it, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
I
It's
think
funny.
most people think that the hypnosis client is kind of like the sacred cow, and you can't touch it, you
Yeah.
can't talk to them, you can't do this. But think about it, guys. Think about every time you have something like that happen, think about comedy hypnosis, right? Those people are moving all over the place, and they're still in hypnosis because you're in all brainwave states simultaneously at the same in all the brainwave states at the same time. So either you're thinking, you're moving. I mean, come on, you're in a state of hypnosis when you're at the grocery store because you bought 100 items and you went there to buy 2, right?
Yeah, and that's important. I mean, like I said, you go through hypnosis all day.
Mhm.
Hypnosis isn't just there sitting there really quiet. You see the hypnotist sneaking around, trying not to wake the client. The client's not asleep. They're sitting there with their eyes closed. I've hypnotized people sitting there with their eye closed. I hypnotized people sitting there with their eyes open because some people didn't feel comfortable closing them. I've hypnotized people many times standing up, walking. I even can probably shouldn't say it. I even went through hypnosis walking on a treadmill once. Okay, as long as you can keep your balance. Think
Mhm.
of it in the military. Okay, and I'm going to go back to 100 years ago when I was in the military. A good half of the years that I was there, I was a drill sergeant. Okay, and what's a drill sergeant? He's the person that trains all the people and yells and screams at them, but takes people off the street and makes them soldiers. How? Through hypnosis. A lot of people don't realize that. I'd take 60 people, we'd go marching on the road, go on a 17-mile speed march with a 50 or 60-pound pack on their back. These kids are getting tired. They want to drop out. They're crying. So what would I do? We'd start singing. singing cadence back and forth. I'd say something, they'd repeat it, which is extremely hypnotic. It got their mind focusing on it, and they had no pain, and we could go a lot faster. You see what I mean? So that's a form of hypnosis while their eyes are open, while they're walking, while they're, going through all this stuff, walking through the mud and the rain and all that. So it doesn't matter. Relaxation is not a prerequisite for hypnosis. It's what most people do, but you don't have to be relaxed to be hypnotized. So I hope that helps Bluebell. And then Sapphire Mommy replied to Bluebell again. This is kind of fun to see these. She goes, Bluebell, I have always wanted to be hypnotized. The idea of letting go and giving into the suggestions of another is so appealing. See, they think they're giving it up to, no, you're just listening and accepting. I would like to lose weight, deal with anxiety, fear, control, and many bad habits. So having hypnosis would be an invaluable tool if it worked for me. I think I need to find someone. Oh, okay, she got it. I think I need to find someone who is skilled in working with someone like me and keep trying. Okay. Good point. So she must have went someone that only knows how to do the non-analytical session. But if she went to someone who was skilled, who could test them using suggestibility tests, find out how their mind works and tailor it to them, she would have been successful. Because there's really, if you test someone, which like I said, don't guess, if you test someone, find out how their mind works, there's really no reason you should miss anyone if they could understand the language. Now, some people, if they can't understand the language, that's not going to help. But anyone who can understand the language can be hypnotized. Let's see. We have Leela asked, can background music be a tool? Yeah. Yeah. Background. Here's my feeling about background music. Okay. Sometimes I use it in a session. In person, I use it. Online, I don't, just in case I want to use something for advertising later, copywritten and all this stuff. You don't want copywritten music online. It's nice. It helps someone to relax more. Is it required? No. To me, the purpose of background music, other than being nice, is it helps to break up outburst or, something that would bother you during the session. In other words, if the session was extremely quiet and right outside the office window, someone's car alarm went off. Bam, bam, bam. Okay, it can make you, or a phone ring or something like that. It could scare you. But if there was music playing already, it would help to buffer that. Or if you're doing hypnosis in your home, and you got the music going, somebody might not hear, honey, you want a coffee? Because they don't know that you're in session. Or the kids in the background going, give me that, give me that. It will help to break it up a little bit. You'll still hear it because in hypnosis, all your senses are enhanced a minimum of 15%. So in hypnosis, you're going to hear things that I don't hear. I might hear somebody on the sidewalk, barely, but you'll be able to tell me what the conversation was. That's how much better your hearing is and all your senses. So yeah, it's a great tool, but it's not needed. Any comments
I
on that?
had an office in Center City, Philadelphia, when we lived there, and it was in the gym, so it was fairly noisy. And so I didn't really, the music didn't really work out so good because it was noise and music and it didn't mesh together well. So I used white noise. That worked wonderful. They have different types of machines that you can get, or just buy a music track that's really, really long of white noise, have it in the background. And that's what I did there.
Now tell them about the lady with the fire alarm.
Yeah, I just didn't know that the fire alarm for the entire gym was in my office, and I had a client in the session
Right
for
above the
stress
chair.
reduction out of all things. Yes, and the alarm started, and the poor lady goes, "Oh, that was such a rude awakening." I said, "Yes, I concur. I could agree with that." So we went out. It was deafening. I mean, our heads were just. I couldn't hear anything for like 10 minutes, but it went away. The alarm went away finally, and yeah, I didn't have that office for very long thereafter. Let's just put it that way. I was not aware of that. Yeah. I mean, I saw something up there, but I was like, oh, there's got to be some, I don't know, smoke detector or something. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes even music doesn't help.
Yeah. That was excessive. But
Yeah,
we
I
went
was
back and we did I restarted the entire session. And luckily, I usually used to give myself time in between sessions. So I had enough time to redo it because I wasn't going to let her go. She was there for stress, like I said, and I wasn't gonna let her go away without taking care of it first. So yeah.
Yeah, I had an
Mm.
office on Main Street in Sanford. We had rented a pharmacy that went out of business, so it was a nice big building, pharmacy building, but it was right on the main intersection. Okay, so the red light for the center of town was probably one building up, so all the cars would line up. So one afternoon, I was doing a group session for past life regression. I had about 12 people, and they're all in hypnosis and they're going to here and there. And it happened to be a holiday. I don't remember what holiday, Labor Day, Memorial Day. And they were having a
Something in the
parade.
summer, yeah, it was
They
something.
were having a parade.
4th of July, wasn't it?
I don't know, but it was right outside the building. And of course, you know, these parades, sometimes they'll be walking by, then they'll stop and they'll keep marching in place. Well, this brass band stopped and started marking time right in front of my window. Now, I had two big 10-foot tall by, I think it was like 10 by 8 windows side by side, so 16 feet of solid glass. And they're marking time, still playing the drums and playing the horns and all that, and you could actually see the windows going like that. And these
Oh,
guys are in hypnosis, and boom, boom, boom. And I saw a couple of them smile, but they kept their eyes closed, and I kept on going. And finally, it walked away. Of course, you incorporate the noise into the session. Listen to the band, and as you hear them, you'll go deeper and deeper. As they fade away, so too do you fade deeper into hypnosis. And that worked. And then another band came up, and same thing. They stop at the red light, and they're boom, boom, boom. And a couple of them opened their eyes, and then I'm like, close their eyes, continued, and luckily, I said it was a group session, so it wasn't like an individual thing for something a stress or anything. It was just a past life. And then the third band come over, and some of them opened their eyes. I said, "Okay, on the count of three, everybody open your eyes. 1, 2, 3. Let's go outside and watch the parade. Then we'll come back in and finish." And that's what we did. I mean, sometimes you got to give in to the absurd. It's just so far you can go. Of course, no music would have helped. Actually, that was the music.
yeah, you had music right
Yeah.
there,
Doesn't happen
loud
too
and clear.
often, folks, but that was the only time I did it I made sure I didn't have any groups or sessions during a holiday from that point forward if there was going to be a parade. Sometimes you just got to do it. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Katina says, great video. Thank you. Oh, by the way, these questions were based on a video about why can't I be hypnotized. It was actually one of my most popular videos. And I also have the link to that video below this video, okay, in the description. So if you wanted to actually go there and find out what that video was all about. Great video. Based on your test, I'm a 2. Now, I had a test with like a scale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where are you? 1 being completely analytical, 5 being completely non-analytical, and the degrees in between. Okay. She goes, based on your test, I'm a 2, which would make me analytical. That explains a lot because I'm not resistant to the idea of being hypnotized, and I don't fear it, but it just doesn't take. See what I mean? It just doesn't take. Again, not understanding what hypnosis is. It's open to suggestion. It's not, does it take or does it not take? Whether it takes or not has to do with your dedication, because hypnosis isn't a magic spell. It's a helpmate. Okay. So does help take? Okay. So keep that in mind. Your description of the analytical person is spot on for me. LOL. I'm looking to create / program some daily habits to improve. You guessed it, my productivity, LOL. I guess I should look for products that use an approach suited for analytical people. Thanks. So again, by being tested, it helped her understand why she was having difficulty before. She was an analytical person. But when it comes to it didn't take, look at hypnosis like going to a gym. Okay. My job as a hypnotist is to deliver suggestions. If I do it, or if you do it according to the training, if you had good training, if you did the 5-step hypnosis session like you were taught, you did your part 100%. So if I owned the gym and I supplied the gym equipment, the weights and treadmills and all that, I did my part. Now the client has to do their part 100%. In a gym, you need to work out. If you
Good.
don't work out, you're not going to say the machinery didn't take. Okay. No, you didn't do it. All right. And with hypnosis, the same thing. I gave it 100%. Now you need to do your 100%. I'm there to help you. You need to allow it, to accept it, and give it effort. Okay. You need to try. You need to walk on the treadmill. You need to do the weights. You can't just say, make me stop smoking. And you go to light a cigarette and, oh, it won't go. I could do that to you for about maybe half an hour. We do it in comedy all the time.
Comedy, yeah.
But eventually it'll go, all right? Because it's not a magic spell. It's just a helpmate. So as long as you are not resisting and you want this to happen, you're dedicated, it's going to happen. So don't worry about it took or it didn't take. Okay, that's just, that's from people that didn't understand. It's being open to suggestion. Let's see what else we have here. Whoops. I just lost
Listen,
it.
Hollywood gives it a sort of a. I mean, it's funny
Yeah.
to see the stuff in movies and stuff, but it sometimes could make our work a bit harder because I had a client once. Oh, I watched those Hollywood movies and I know what's it about.
Yeah, I know what it's
And
called.
I'm like, oh God.
That's how my
No.
doctor feels when I say, I have an ache over here and I Googled it. Okay. And
Yes.
Google says, the doctor's like, oh no, Dr. Google, I'm competing with him again. I've got one more I'm going to go over. And the reason why I'm saying I got one more is if you have any questions, go ahead and put them down now because
Yeah, write them down in the chat and we'll
there's
answer
a
you
lag
guys.
from when we see it and when we talk. So put your questions down now because after this one's done, we're going to be done and we're going fishing. No, we're going out to play, but I think we're going shopping. In the summertime, though, I'll be saying we're going fishing. Okay, right? Off season, Raluca gets to have her fun. Summertime, I get to have mine. So let's see. Brianna says, this is so helpful. I think it's more a comment than a question. I've been trying to be hypnotized for years with no success. But when I'm at home or at work and can multitask while doing something monotonous, sewing, painting, listening to music, playing a game, for long stretches of time, it's super easy for me to check out mentally and lose all sense of time. As an analytical mind, it's difficult for me. As an analytical mind, it's difficult for me not to be doing something at all times. That's interesting because the analytical mind is the mind that likes to keep busy. But what she's saying is she finds it easy to check out while she's doing a lot of things. If you look at the mind right now, we're going to talk a little bit about the brainwave states. Right now, you're in the beta brainwave state, the busy state, controlled by your 5 senses, okay? You're listening to me, you're doing other things, but when you relax and go more into hypnosis, you go alpha, theta, and delta, you get slow and relaxed. But on the other side of the spectrum, you're in beta. When you get too much beta, you get into hyper beta. Then you get really busy like athletes. You get into gamma and hyper gamma. What happens? You get to a certain point between beta and gamma that you go through critical mass. You ever heard of that? For me, walking and chewing bubblegum at the same time hits critical mass. But for some people, they do 3-4 things or 2-3 things at a time, and they hit critical mass that you're so busy all of a sudden you become hypnotizable. Or you get, like for athletes, they get into what they call in the zone. You ever heard of that? They're in the zone where everything just fits into place. They're so busy, it all, like race car drivers, even gamers, okay? They get in the zone where everything seems to slow down and they do great at it. Okay. That's also just as hypnotizable a state as theta and delta. You see what I mean? Because you got so much going on that the resistance is gone, the conscious resistance. So you're pretty much mainlining your subconscious to what you're doing, which is pure hypnosis. So you can see how with analytical people going through this critical mass, doing so much, they can do these things automatically.
Go.
Hi everyone, Rainey with the American School of Hypnosis here. For those of you that were watching my hypnosis town hall this morning, we had technical difficulties and were cut off because someone in the city cut through the internet cable, and over 40,000 homes are without internet, including us. Woohoo! So we will be changing our town hall date to Tuesday starting next week because Fridays seem to be so busy with the internet as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next Tuesday at 10 a.m. Bye-bye now.